Hello and welcome to STAYBitching, where two stay bitches bitch about stays bitching. My name is Lullaby B. If you don't already know me, I am the host of the Metaskizverse metaverse at this point. Supposedly it was a podcast. This is still a podcast now if you're listening to it on podcast form. Stick around at the end and I'll give you some updates on the podcast itself. Or you know me from my YouTube channel, Metaskizverse, and my therapist reactions to Two Kids Rooms. I am a clinical social worker. I'll be licensed whenever I get my license in the mail, mostly. I've been around in the fandom for almost exactly 2 years now. My pronouns are none, bitch, and then whatever feels good to your heart, as long as you don't just refer to me as she because it's easy and I have big tits. I think that's all that's important. Yeah, sure. That's all that's important. This and that.
This and that.
This and that. I will bring it over to my co-host, who I am forcing into being part of the Metaverse, metaverse, until
Yes.
further notice.
Write that down. Actually, that sounds really good. Hello, guys. My name is Maya. I am not a licensed social worker as of yet. However, we are getting there. I do have my bachelor's in social work, though, and I am currently a interning clinician. I have been in the fandom since 2021, like mid to late 2021. When things were a little shaky, a little rocky. But I've been here, been down. I love the fandom. It brings me great joy, even though it also brings me a little bit of stress.
Great
but I
joy
love it. I enjoy
and
being here.
great suffering.
Yes. Great
Yes.
suffering.
I'm bitchier about it than Mia is.
You know, and that's actually fair because there are days where I'm just like, I just need everyone to shut up and log off. But then I'm like, you know what? I'll
that
log
means I
off.
need to
I'll
shut
do
up.
it. Right. I'll leave. That's fine. So yes, but I love it here. Matt, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for letting me rope you into this, because I know that basically this happened because people kept telling you to make a podcast, and I was like, hey, what if?
What if we just combine forces? But I'm so happy that you did that. I really am so happy that you said that, because I do need to put these ideas and these thoughts somewhere in other than post form on Threads. So this is a great introduction. I actually love this.
Mia and I love each other. When we were talking about starting this up, we spent 4 hours chatting, and we kept having to be like, okay, wait, let's like bring it back to what we're talking about.
Yep.
So we are limiting this. We are time limiting ourselves to 1 hour, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes for us. But yeah, we vibe a lot, and I think that we've both had the experience of like, I think we've both had the experience of having similar perspectives on something that we're not 100% aligned, and together changing our opinion on something in a way that felt conducive, which I think, like, that's always a lovely experience when you meet somebody who you're like, yeah, we're not always there, but we can like get to a better place together that we both then feel good about, right?
Exactly that. Put that in the words so perfectly.
I don't know what my computer is trying to download right now, which is suspect and concerning. I'm gonna pause for 1 second. So the way this is going to work, of course, we are not drama tube. We're not drama YouTubers. That's not what we're here for. We are here to look at some of the things that, this is a complicated fandom.
Yes.
I think I the way I've described it to people, and I've seen a number of people agree. Now, of course, I've never been like on Stay Twitter, really. I like pop in on occasion and then
Mm-hmm.
go like, wow, there's a lot happening, and pop back out. Um and
Stay
I've
Twitter is a different demon.
and I've certainly never been on Stay TikTok because I deleted TikTok in 2020 and TikTok made my life worse for 6 months, and then my life immediately got better when I got rid of it, and I never regretted that decision.
I know that's right.
Yeah, there's no fucking way I'm going to go decide to find out what's happening on TikTok, because based on my understanding of what's happening on TikTok, the answer is a lot of fake news.
A whole lot of fake news, especially in K-pop fandom TikTok. It's crazy
And
over there.
that just doesn't, that doesn't seem like it would make my life better.
Nope.
So, but my interpretation of the fandom and what I have experienced, and I think what I have heard people agree with, is that stays have the best of the best and the worst of the worst as far as experience is concerned, right? Like, you either have met the best community who you're like, holy shit, I can't believe people this like truly incredible and intelligent and thoughtful exist in such mass quantities. I feel connected in a way that I've never felt before. And also,
Literally.
what the fuck?
Who are these people? I've never met such
What is happening? Why are there Nazis everywhere? Like what
everybody's
is going
okay with
on?
racism. What's happening? I thought this was everywhere, all around the world.
Why is what is going on? And then every now and then the same person will become both sides of this, which
Yes.
I think is just normal for people, but like there are some people in Stay who, like, there's a person, and I am not going to bring up a username,
Yes.
but there is a person I know who people keep messaging. It's the person who doxed my Discord server to Threads, who they sent the screenshots of who's in my Discord server, because I was asking people to report someone who is actively harassing me and report someone else who was actively lying about me, who was also like pro ICE, and I like called that person a lackey. And
did you lie?
they're pro ICE. I don't think I fucking did.
I don't think you lied. So
this person, the amount of people who I've had come in and be like, "Do we have any issues with this person?" And me being like, "Yeah, they once tried to dox you personally."
Like, hey, so that's them. That's
story.
them right there. Yes.
That's the one.
So funny, yes.
Right? Like, they're so good at playing both sides of like the pendulum, and like I had to reach out to somebody who's like who I'm close to, who has been I've heard through the grapevine talking about collaborating with them, and I was like, hey, BT dubs. They were like, shit, because I met them through a bunch of people who was shit talking the person who was harassing you. So I thought they were cool. And I was like, nope.
Sorry, Bestie. Actually, you were getting played.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not you were getting played, but you were definitely hit with a double whammy, a whiplash, if you will.
Yeah, so like Stay has this like it's very complex to figure out like who you're actually chill with.
Yes. Yes. And it's so interesting, and so it's equally interesting, infuriating, but also hilarious at the same time, because so many people, I think, follow each other off of the vibes, the pictures, the videos, the fan cams and everything. But then when it comes down to when things get a little serious in the fandom, when we have to have certain discussions because we're seeing patterns and behaviors that are not technically okay, then you really start to see the other side, or the true colors come out. And it's like, oh, wait, but that's not.
So this is like the whole Threads like profile picture cult following thing, right?
Yes.
Where like, last March, uh Laptop and Beanie, if you're not on Threads, you don't
Mhm.
know these people, but like you don't have to, it's fine. Laptop and Beanie accidentally started that profile picture cult,
Mhm.
and the Chan in 4K profile picture cult, and everybody was
Yes.
just following anybody who had that profile picture. And I refused to. I was like, that sounds like a
Yeah.
recipe for disaster. And fucking
Complete disaster.
everybody after that was like, I regret
Mhm.
everything. Because only like 3 months later was the first like Harry Potter issue.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And then because of the concerts, we kept getting new stays and then new profile picture cults, and people would follow anybody with the new. And luckily, I think most people have figured out now. One, I think that Threads now has too many people to like actually make those profile picture cults happen. Um,
Yeah.
Right, because like when Beanie and Laptop did it, what happened was there were like 8 of us who were just around one morning and just started peer pressuring everyone around us. And because there were only like 4,000 active stays on Threads,
Right.
like it was very easy.
It was so easy, and I'm so glad you brought up the how many states were active because that
So
also plays a
few.
huge part in this complexity of the fandom space. There's so many
It's a
people, so
huge
many
fandom.
perspectives. Like, and this is just, and everybody's not even on Threads, like, because there's
No.
still Threads, stay Twitter and stay TikTok, and like, so this is not even encapsulating all of the fandom, but the fact that the Threads community itself has grown into something so huge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is like a big it is big now, and the thing is that the fandom all over is big now, and
Mhm.
except like maybe on Blue Sky. I think we haven't
Right.
managed to get a foothold into Blue Sky. We all tried for a minute, and nobody, like the algorithm wasn't working for us, and
Right.
nobody was being convinced to go to Blue Sky.
Right. We were like, what is this? I've never heard of this before. We know that, but just
I live in Seattle. I had some friends trying to convince me. They were like, "No, you got to get all the K-pop people into Mastodon." I was like, "You motherfuckers think I'm getting the K-pop people onto Mastodon? Who do you think is into K-pop? Because it's not tech security bros. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry to inform you that the like techie trans girls and the K-pop fans are not the overlapping circle you seem to think they are. Like, do
right.
I wish they were? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And maybe the reason they're not is because K-poppies aren't on Mastodon. But
I mean, there might be some truth to that actually. Maybe there's just that the fandom is very diverse. Maybe they could just be waiting for their moment.
anyway, so that's a very long story on how we start. I don't really remember where the story started. Um uh Oh, right. It started with we're not here to be drama tubers. Um,
No.
we're here to sort of do like more in-depth discussing slash bitching. I'm gonna be way more off cuff than I am in my like reactions, for instance.
Yeah. Like this is my I'm not gonna be, or as I say on my alt account, I bite my tongue a lot on main, but that's because I'm very community care focused. But I will not be doing that here.
I
Well,
think that this is more for you and me. This is about the political side of our social work. Like,
yeah,
and for people who don't know, like social work values require us, it is our job to do political work, right? To do community organizing. There are a lot of social workers who have the belief that it is unethical to be a social worker who tries to disengage from politics. I would agree with that.
also
Um,
agree with that or disagree with that.
um, so I think that this is like, so while my like two kids rooms reactions, those are very much about like the clinical side, and obviously the clinical side and the socio-political side are related, right? But like those are much more about the clinical side. That is still part of the social work values in that like it is education
Yes.
The my podcast is media analysis, which
Mhm.
touches everything. But I think for both of us, this is our like almost catharsis political, like socioeconomic political,
Mhm.
that macro level,
Yeah.
right?
And the experience of the fandom and like how it applies to the things that we see on a daily basis in this because of the diverse fandom that we have. Like, yeah.
Yeah, right. So um for those who don't know, in social work conceptualization, we think about 3 levels of engagement. There's macro work, meso work, and micro work. And sort of the ethos of the social worker is to work across, it's called working across the micro to macro divide. That idea that the macro applies to the micro applies to the macro. Meso is our group level, it's our like community level.
Mm-hmm.
And that all of these things are interacting forces. So the metaphor that gets thrown around the most, I don't know, maybe you did or maybe you didn't come across this particular metaphor in your degree, the babies in the river metaphor.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we all know the babies in the river metaphor. It sounds like I'm about to tell a dead baby joke, and like,
Right.
it kind of
That's not
is.
what's happening. I mean, well,
It's kind of what's happening. I don't know. It's a dead baby metaphor.
it kind of is a dead baby metaphor, actually. But see, this is our brains. It's there's so much there's nuance and layers and complexities to it, which is why it is a common metaphor that we do discuss in our education in our degrees. I think.
I think that in one of my recent podcast episodes, I go through a much more detailed version of the dead baby metaphor. But for those of you who haven't listened to my podcast, the very quick overview, the idea of the macro to meso divide, or micro to macro divide, is you come across a river and people are pulling babies out of this river. And they're like, hey, help us pull some babies out of this river. And you're like, cool, this is important. We definitely need to pull these babies out of the river. But why the fuck are there babies in the river? And they're
Right.
like, well, I don't really know. We're busy pulling the babies out of the river to figure out why there's babies in the river. And so somebody
Exactly.
at some point has to go up the river to figure out where the fuck all these,
Why?
like, who's throwing the babies into the river?
Exactly. And what was the reason for you putting these children in the river? And
why
now
why are
the
all these
community is
babies
saving
in the
them.
river? Like, and why is this just a thing that just keeps happening, that like nobody is,
Exactly.
why is there not one baby in the river? Why is there just like an onslaught of river babies? Like,
It's like, well,
we were only supposed to have Moses, and now we've got like 70 of them.
exactly.
That's too many chosen ones. I don't know what to do.
Like, this is very much fighting for our lives here, but why? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. So that's what's working across the micro macro divide, is figuring out like at what level are things happening, at what level can we handle them.
Mhm.
I think that what me and I joked was that the subtitle of this essentially would be like, yeah, we're bitching about Stay's bitching and we're gonna bitch about it, but like, it's probably a system's fault. Somewhere it's the
Yes.
system's fault.
At the end of the day, the systems are at fault. Always. And honestly, that's still true. It's just the system.
Yeah. No, definitely. I don't know what we're going to be discussing at any point, but I do blame a system somewhere. I don't know how I
Yeah.
blame a system yet,
But
but
don't
like
worry,
I
we will
probably blame a system.
we'll get there. Like it'll as we deduce and go through and talk through a lot of things.
Baby Jennerette, do you agree? Is it a system? Jenny's too busy sleeping. Doesn't care.
He's not really. It's fine. It's okay. Right. But the system, it is the system. Just hear us out first. Hear us out.
So the way that we proposed to each other to do this was to basically bring up a handful of things each that happened over the last couple of weeks that we would be interested in bitching about. Now, a lot has happened over the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to be honest, I did not write down just 3. I started taking screenshots of things, and then there were a lot of things happening. So I'm going to throw it over to you to start with things that maybe you'd be interested in discussing. And then if we find overlap, we'll just discuss whatever overlaps. And otherwise, we'll just figure out where we're going with things. This is impromptu. We're going to figure it out. So what are a few things that you've seen in the last couple of weeks that you want to bitch about?
So actually, I also took the screenshots approach because when we literally the day after we discussed doing that is when I feel like before we decided on that, I was seeing so many posts about different things or people talking about things. And I'm like, da da da. But then you're like, oh yeah, let's like, screenshot what you see or write down like things that you see happening multiple times. And then it's like,
Shit,
I got nothing for a solid like 3 days.
Oh,
but then
so
everything hit the fan like after that.
I feel like I had a very consistent, like every 2 days there was something, and I was like, I've got too many things. So
yeah, no, it's crazy out here. But I have
comeback season, baby.
I have to. It's so, guys. The things that happen in this fandom on a day-to-day basis.
That happen
on a day-to-day basis. Like it gets to a point where there's some days I'm just like, y'all don't get tired of doing this. Like, why are we not tired of this yet? Are we really? Is this going to be our perpetual brand? Is this the consistency? Like, is this what we're gonna? Is this it?
All right. So what are your things?
So one of them was military enlistment. It was.
We've both got that. Yeah.
It was definitely military enlistment. The other one was fan service. And
what part specifically?
Some of the members doing fan service and why versus the other ones who do not do fan service and why. Is this I think you have to do fan service because the company is saying so, or are you doing fan service because you want to? Or are you not doing fan service because you don't care to and that's just not your brand, it's not your deal.
Okay.
And then the other one was after the unveil kind of like 45-second video like preview happened, and Mino has a shot with a woman.
Oh, and yeah, that happened too. Yeah,
I swear this was the now listen.
Yeah, so let's see. I had a few of those things. Now let's go to my screenshots. Let's see what I got. I've got a lot of screenshots. Why do I have so many?
No, literally saying like I should have put them in a note and just like category 1, category 2.
Okay, so one thing that I had that the thing is that this is evergreen, so we can like put it on a back burner, is people not fucking reading.
Oh, yes.
People not fucking reading. And this one is specifically, I had a couple things of people not fucking reading over the last 2 weeks. The big one, I had totally forgotten what the big one was, but the big one was the post I wrote where that was like 50% shit post. It was all shit post. It was all shit post because this is like such old news. But
yeah,
the one where I wrote the real reason Han's tattoos get covered is because the quote on his chest is too political, while Resplendent Life actually is a Dark Souls reference, and there actually is a limit to the level of absolute nerd that JYPE will allow their idols to publicly be. All shitpost, complete joke. People could not read it. So that was one.
Nope.
I don't know if you saw any of the comments on that post.
No,
they were unhinged.
I did, and I was just like, guys, what? How did we even get to this point? Like, where did your how did your neural pathways get to this point? I just want to know. How did you get to your conclusion?
It was a lot. So there was that. There was the after the unveils for farming the
Mhm.
Seungmin thing of Seungmin not being in it himself, and like the difference between I am emotional and sad about not seeing him versus he is being mismanaged
Yes. Oh,
versus he
yes.
is being mistreated, right? Like that
Yep.
spectrum of response. So there was the Seungmin, and honestly, I think that the Seungmin and the Lee No thing have a lot in
Mhm.
common.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot in common with each other. Uh, and then, um, oh, the ag guy thing, where like Threads is just uh, ag guys everywhere.
Oh,
Oh, have you not noticed that?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, it's like a big thing where like
Mhm.
there's just a shit ton of ag guys commenting on everything. As you mentioned, the military stuff, all of the stuff with the stay weak conversation and what's
Mhm.
happening around that. Um uh yeah, so oh, probably doesn't matter. There was the sort of like Gongcha uh Harry Potter collaboration thing that was happening very similar at the same time that the Felix
Oh,
keychain was coming
yeah.
out thing. That didn't really take on a lot of traction, but I think that there's a little
Mhm.
bit there of like um when you decide to refuse to purchase something from a company to
Yes.
show displeasure in it versus when you choose to boycott and what a boycott actually is and how it actually has to work, because it's not just as easy as like I guess I won't buy anything from Gongcha anymore or whatever. Like that's not how a
Mhm.
boycott works. And also that a boycott is not I'm not going to buy this product from a company.
Exactly. Right.
That one didn't get a whole bunch of controversy right now though because a lot was happening. Um, uh, yeah, there were a couple other things, but I think that those were some of the those were the big screenshots I got. So I think what I'm
Yeah.
hearing is we've got fan servicey stuff.
Mm.
I think that probably what you're talking about is stuff that's a little bit evergreen. I think that
Yeah.
that this is like a I can take some guesses as
Yeah.
to what you're talking about here. Um we've got the Lino Sungmin, like how fans respond to
Hit one's absence and one's like
I think
their perception of one of
yeah,
them.
I guess like yeah, like how people perceive that like what they see in official content means
Mhm.
for the idol,
Yeah.
like, and like their life and their companies and things like
Mhm.
that. Military service, we both had that on our list, so maybe that just means that we default to that. Um, and people can't fucking read.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Uh,
Yeah.
do you have any strong feelings about any of those? Are any of those feeling like really top of mind? You really want to like, you've got an itch
Um,
to scratch about them?
honestly, the people can't fucking read that's very tap dancing on my last nerve. Like seriously tap dancing on my last nerve. And I try not to be I try to be so understanding. I try to be so gracious because I understand the complexities and nuances of
I've
people
stopped.
not having access and all that. But it's
No,
just like,
I've fucking
guys.
stopped. I have started literally just re-quoting
Mhm.
myself saying the same thing. I have started
Yes,
doing as per my last email in comment
literally.
responses.
I've seen that.
Yeah, you see it like I like
Like, I already posted about this, please. Like, we've already had a discussion about this. There's open forum. Like, why are we
I will have people
read?
responding to a comment that I made asking about the comment that I made, and I will have to be like, if you read the comment you responded to,
you would understand the comment that I made.
The answer to this question.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like we both have a bone to pick about this right now. And there are some interesting systems things about this. But so for a little bit of context for people about the post specifically that I made, since we do want this to be relatively timely based on what has happened in the last 2 weeks, right? Like, we want this to relate to things that have gone on recently. So,
exactly. But that is a reoccurring
I think that
theme.
this actually is going to relate to the military service if we get down far enough to it. But first, so that post that I made, for people's context, right? Because I understand that there is a lack of context because this whole conversation happened like a year-ish ago, I want to say, is when, I don't remember exactly when that whole thing about the quote came out, but I think it was about a year ago because it was during the last tour.
Yeah, so pretty much like a year ago, maybe even closer.
Maybe even like a little over a year ago, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So point is, Han has a quote on his chest that he shared to fans, the quote, and he said that it was from the movie Up. If you Google the quote, which is, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Han tattoo quote. If you go, regardless, as I try to find it, the exact wording of it, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. He said it was from the movie Up. It is not. It does not show up in the movie Up. He said this on Fans. Every single person, because if you Google the quote, it will tell you that all of the internet will tell you it is a Desmond Tutu quote. Yes. Desmond Tutu, of course, being a very famous political activist and very well renowned in Southern Korea. Like very, very well known figure in Southern Korea. Probably more well known there than here, honestly.
Yes.
So everything will tell you it's a Desmond Tutu quote. And many people went through both the English and Korean scripts and did not find that quote anywhere. Did not find it anywhere. Now, idols are not allowed to show political anything.
Yes.
At all. They're not allowed to. Right? And you know, people ask, like, why would he lie about that? First of all, the only thing that makes sense is either he's a dipshit or he lied about it, right? Either he is the type of dipshit who saw a meme, like some random Facebook meme with like
the big black letters in the picture and the characters,
that like had the quote on it and never did a single Naver search. Like,
not a single one.
Never looked it up and just assumed from one meme that that's what it was from. So either he's a dipshit who got a tattoo based on a meme.
Right.
Or he purposefully lied. And I'm going to be honest, like, I'm guessing towards the latter.
I also wholeheartedly agree, because he can't just outright, and people have this debate all the time about what they can and cannot say, what politics they follow. Ultimately, we don't know these people at the end of the day, so we don't even know what their politics are. But he's a company representative. He has to save face.
Well, and it's not even just that. This is a Korean thing where idols are considered, I think Hyosung on YouTube talked about this quite a bit, actually. He talked about how Korean and international fans, especially Western international fans, like, don't understand each other. One of the things he talked about was that idols are considered like country representatives.
Mm-hmm.
They're considered like figures of the
Yeah,
country.
they're very highly regarded. Their publicity in itself is just like.
And so what that means is that they are not supposed to show political partisanship, really. And if they do, like, that is considered like that's very much not done, and you're very possibly going to have severe backlash from your Korean fan base if you
Exactly.
like are overly political, especially if you're overly political without a strong standing
Yeah.
and a strong like a strong name, a strong
Mm,
like, you know, fan base for yourself there already.
exactly. And
Um
for them, I Stray Kids world domination, yes. Yes. However, we have to remember that in South Korea, the K-pop mecca, as people like to call it, they are not the end all be all group, and they are not the only people
they're not
that
even in the
people are
top
paying
10.
attention to. They're not even like they're not that.
No.
And I
Like
think people forget that so often. Like, guys, they're not. We love them because we're exposed to them and we're invested in them, and they're being recognized here and all over the world. But that's not the case at home.
there's a
That's not
reason they get surprised when people recognize them. And obviously they're
right.
getting more recognition, but a lot of the recognition they're getting is like, "Oh yeah, didn't you like win an award or something?" Right? Like
Exactly.
a lot of people aren't super aware of idoldom. Girl groups are much more popular than boy groups. Much more
Very much
popular.
popular.
And like when they've done, so for instance, they when they've done studies on like what names do you think, like what are the idols you think of at home who are like
Hmm.
your like BTS is like number 6,
Exactly.
right? Stray Kids isn't coming close to ranking on that list. So you know, like
And this is not to say this is not to, again, let's reiterate, this is not us just saying this just for shits and giggles. This is
no.
real. This is really like the reality for them.
Yeah. I think like if you spend time watching Korean people talk about like idol culture, this is
Hmm.
not news. This is not surprising, and it's certainly not news for people who have been in the fandom for a long time, right?
Right.
So there is an extent to which like yeah, they're going to apply Korean customs and norms to an extent, not just because they are contractors at a company.
Yeah.
Um and like even if you have a contract, that doesn't mean you have like workers' rights. Um
Hmm.
they are contractors at a company who socially are very much expected to not show political allegiance.
Yep.
And Han in particular, frankly, has tended to show, from what I've noticed, while he does show like some resistance and pushback, he also shows a lot of like, well, they told me to go on a diet, so I went on a diet.
Yeah.
Well, they told me not to do this, so I don't do this. And like he'll complain
Hmm.
about it, but he'll often still comply to a measure. And we don't know
Exactly.
why. We don't know what functions are there to motivate one behavior or another, right? We
Mm-hmm.
don't know enough about their contract. We don't know enough about their goals as a group. We don't know enough about their goals as individuals. But like
Hmm.
it's something about him. So
He he's a job. He has a job, and he does the job.
he has a job. He has a fucking
He has a
job.
job.
And there's only so much, like, you can use political capital in your job, but there's only so much political capital you can use in your job. And you
Hmm.
have to decide where you're going to use it.
Yes.
And we don't know what political capital he's using to do other things. What political capital
Hmm.
is he using to try to get Stays to make a fuss at the company to make things happen? Right?
Right. Right.
What political capital is he using to like try to like I think Chan has said that he tries to do a lot of the like working directly with the company.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's like the middleman between them and the group.
But Han is still part of Sriracha. I would be surprised if he's not still using political capital to make certain production things happen. So anyway, point is, not to get super off track. Point is, I made this post that was totally a joke, and people swarmed in to, first of all, just be like, what about a compass is political? And, okay, this bothers me for a number of reasons, right? I said the quote on his chest. Now, if you walk into something and you go, this doesn't make any sense to me, you're probably fucking missing something.
Exactly. There's context that is that you didn't, you came in the middle of the conversation, so obviously you don't have all the information.
Yeah, like you come in and you see me say a quote on his chest, like the quote on his chest is too political. And you just copy and paste in what makes sense to you. Like, yeah, of course you're confused about how a compass could be political. I'm not talking about a fucking compass. I'm talking about the quote on his chest.
Exactly.
You would know that if you read the comments. Literally read the comments. The number of people who commented some shit or reposted some shit, usually being assholes, and then immediately deleted it. Because I'd see that shit. I'd get the notification. Right? And then I wouldn't be able to respond because they'd already deleted it. And I'm like...
Exactly.
I'm like, take enough time to do emotional regulation before you decide to be an asshole.
Hello. Oh my goodness. Which also is part of the reason of people not reading things all the way or comprehending things all the way. Everybody's so ready to have an emotional reaction and hey buddy, listen, why don't we take a couple deep breaths? Why don't we rub those brain cells together just a little bit before we decide to formulate an opposing opinion. An opinion nonetheless, but an opposing one. Because most of the time they're opposing opinions.
Well, and sometimes it's just facts, right? Like, again, and then of course there were like a few people who decided I was, like, my joke was somehow serious, and I was saying that his quote of Resplendent Life was definitely a Dark Souls reference, and they were like, that's not a Dark Souls reference. And I was like, fucking obviously, I'm not actually saying it's actually a Dark Souls reference. And listen, I get it. Well, we're all autistic, and we can't read tone on the internet. No, you're just not reading.
You're not reading it regardless.
Because guess what? I'm fucking autistic. You're fucking autistic. Every single person who liked the post, who understood that it's a joke, is also fucking autistic, right? Like, you're not trying to understand it. You're not trying.
And people have spent more time lately, which I made a post about that, but we'll get into that later. People spend more time being committed to missing the point.
Well, and so did you read the article that I re-brought up recently about, like, the reason it feels like people can't read is because they can't?
Yes.
And the teaching method?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is like, and that was life-changing for me. It was something that my Gothic Enigma, for those of you who somehow this is your first time knowing anything about me, the Gothic Enigma who haunts my home is my nesting partner, is my spouse. But we refer to her as the Gothic Enigma who haunts my home.
Yes.
So the Gothic Enigma sent that to me because she used to get into a lot of Reddit fights. And she'd have this issue where she'd be like, I feel like they're not, like, I literally respond to what they're saying, and then they say the same thing, and it, like, I've written 2 paragraphs and they're not, and she read this and it like changed her life, and she was like, I need to get off Reddit because I can't teach these people how to read. So there's literally this very common teaching method for reading that is literally, instead of read the words and, like, learn how to sound them out, it's learn how to guess what the next word is going to be. And what they find from this teaching method that's, like, gold standard But what they find from it is that when it's studied and when kids have to read something, they'll just open up something to read and read it straight up wrong because they're just guessing based on whatever pattern recognition they have as to what the next words are.
Yep.
Right? So we're not learning to read by actually learning to read words. People are learning to read by learning to guess based on their preconceived notions. And
Which
that's just going to perpetuate as like AI answers become more common, as people see that, as people respond emotionally to things. Like it is a self-perpetuating problem. And I have to imagine it's really hard to unlearn reading by guessing over reading by reading.
Reading and context clues and like the words are right there. And even if you don't know what words mean, because that is also a thing. We're not going to pretend that people, we sometimes you don't know what a word means, and that's
Dictionaries
okay.
are incredible.
Dictionaries are amazing.
I love a dictionary. I love a thesaurus. Listen, I get it. I use words that are pretentious and too big. I actually, when I was doing group work with teenagers, I realized at one point, I was like, I use a lot of words y'all don't know, don't I? And they were like, yeah, you do. And I was like, okay. When I use a word that you don't know, I want you to hold your hand up. I'm going to write it on the board and I'm going to define it for you. Right? And we're going to have a new vocab list. Or what I'll try to do is I'll try to catch myself earlier on words that it's possible you don't know. I don't want to make assumption about what words y'all know and don't know, but I'm going to try to catch myself on words you don't know or might not know. And they were very, very good at that, right? When people are young, they're super easy to teach if you just teach them well, right? But yeah, like I get it. I use a lot of words people don't know.
Right.
It's because I had a lot of words I didn't know used at me, and I'd bring a dictionary to my reading class. And yes, I got made fun of for it.
The words. But now you have this arsenal of words because you decided to like, oh, I wonder what that means. And you looked it up. Like it's not, it really is that simple. And I don't understand why it appears to be a foreign concept.
To look it up
but
instead of asking somebody, instead of typing out, what does this word mean, and waiting for somebody to respond.
Yes. And it's just like,
And I get it. It is much harder to use search engines now than it was 5-10 years ago.
Before. Yes.
Yeah.
Because everything is AI, or things are being run through an AI.
And everything is SEO. Everything is fucking SEO also, right? Everything. It's SEO being run through AI that like perpetuates SEO. I get it. It is harder to use search engines. And it is not harder to go word dictionary.
It's not that hard. It's so...
It's not hard to go word definition. It's not hard to go word Wikipedia. Do you know how fucking often I am linking Wikipedia to people?
Yes. Actually, yes, I can.
You're like, because I'm doing it too.
Because I'm doing it, but I'm watching, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in real life, real time. Like, and it's like, why are we even doing this?
Why are we doing? And I get it. Like, teachers spent a long time saying don't use Wikipedia, but like, why is using Google Gemini better than using Wikipedia? And more importantly, why is asking somebody who posted something better than using Wikipedia? Because I'm going to tell you straight up. Some random person on social media who's talking about a concept is not more reliable than Wikipedia.
At all. At all.
Wikipedia is at least like peer reviewed.
At least, at the very least.
At the
Peer
very
reviewed.
least, there's a peer review happening there. It's not always a good peer review, and sometimes the peer review is being done by people paid to make the page, like, be less. I mean, like, listen, billionaires have social media teams, and those social media teams are on those billionaires' web pages cleaning them up. But, like, some random ass TikToker, Threads account person, I am not more reliable than Wikipedia. I am not more reliable than Wikipedia. I am not more reliable than Wikipedia.
Nope.
Except about my own life experience.
Exactly. The only thing that is biblically accurate is your experience through your eyes and your retelling. No one can tell your story. No one can tell you what you did and did not experience because they weren't there.
And Wikipedia is sometimes very shallow in information. And if what you are saying is like, I searched and I couldn't find things, I respect that.
Yes.
I respect the fuck out of that. And I have people do that and I help them out with search terms. Right? Like, or I try to tell them more information. Or I go, honestly, that's a lot of information for me to tell you on Threads, and like, I don't have that bandwidth. Whatever. That's fine.
Right.
But like, if you see somebody say this person's quote is too political and that doesn't align with your bias, fucking search it. Han Ji-sung tattoo quote. I did. I found it in 30 seconds, which is faster than if you type it into somebody's thread and wait for them to respond.
Exactly. And to potentially get a wrong response, because do they even know what they're talking about? Did they do the research? Do they know what the quote says? It's like, it's not. I always make this caveat in my posts, like when I am making long form posts or more like political-ish posts, I always say, I am not always right. But I stand by that because I don't think I'm always right. I don't want to be always right. I feel like that's a burden that none of us should bear.
It's also not possible. It's not even just that,
it's
like, it's not possible
realistic
for our brains, but it's like rightness itself is such a false concept that, like, truth is this incredibly complex thing that usually is, I mean, Nietzsche talks about this, right? Is, you know, one of my favorite, like, Nietzsche metaphors is the concept of that it's impossible to reach objectivity. That objectivity is 360 degrees, like it's all around you, but you can only look at one slice of it at a time.
Exactly.
So it is impossible for anybody to have an objective perspective because you will never have 360 degree sight.
Exactly. And this is something that we are, as social workers, we are taught to like be objective, or to look at things and nuances and complexities with objective lenses, but also to be conscious of the.
Oh, were you taught that?
Yeah.
That's very different. That's very different than what I was taught.
Yeah, no, they did. They definitely do tell us to be, or they told me at least, to be objective, more so because you have less of a chance of imposing your own views and perspectives onto things where it's not relevant.
This might also be a bit of the difference of like what happens when you go from bachelor's to master's. Where like, as you get more experienced as something, they go, okay, remember that thing we said? Fuck that thing.
Right. Pretend we never said that. That's not real world life. And it's like, you know what? You're absolutely right.
I think that probably that, because that's sort of our foundation of like, do basic research.
Yes.
Know information. Like, do not just assume you know information.
Yes.
Because like, you have to be willing to ask the client what that's sort of we are not experts on our clients' lives. Right. So I think that like I can understand sort of from the like foundational aspect of like, be objective in that don't think that your subjectivity is correct. And then once you know how to figure out information, on how to
Mhm.
assimilate it, how to process it, how to push it together and then pull it apart into something that makes sense in a different way,
Mhm.
now take your subjectivity and figure out how to align yourself with the work. Okay, I've bitched about reading a lot. What do you want to get off your chest about people reading things?
Oh, well, let's see. I think one of the things that really bothers me about people not reading is the lack of understanding or wanting to understand nuanced layers to a lot of conversations. And because
Yeah.
everything is so emotionally charged these days, there's no
Everything.
room for
Why do I
nuance at
need
all.
an opinion on everything?
Why do I need an opinion on everything, and why do I need to share that opinion on
And why
everything?
do I need to feel something about that opinion? Like, we can't just have opinions anymore either. We have to have feelings about opinions. And if we're not
Mhm.
as passionate about that opinion as
Mhm.
every other opinion, then what are we doing here? That like
Then what are we doing? And it has become very zero-sum gamey, and
oh,
that's
so
not
tiring.
okay. Like, I get that we are living in trying times, or at least here us in the US are living in very trying times where politically a lot of
Oh,
things are
everybody
a
is.
zero-sum game.
I mean everywhere in the world is moving more to the right, right? And like
Yeah.
the way that the right happens, like
Mm.
the way that things become more authoritarian, because
Yes.
so leftism splits where there's like leftism authoritarian and leftism anti-authoritarian, right?
Yes.
There's like authoritarian leftism is on the like pure communist or
Mhm.
like Marxist Leninist like
Mhm.
side. um Anti-authoritarian leftism is on the anarchist side, right? The
Yes.
right just moves towards authoritarian, and there's different types of authoritarian, but it's only authoritarian on the right. And the way that authoritarianism
Mhm.
has to go in order to succeed is to make things very zero sum, make things very binary, because
Mhm.
that's what you have to do in order to like quash political dissidents, right?
Mhm.
That's the reason why authoritarian leftism eventually becomes like fascism or authoritarian rightism,
Mhm.
is because you what a singular vanguard party, which is what
Mhm.
communism requires, like pure communism or Marxist Leninism,
Right.
a singular vanguard party. I always find it funny when people call themselves communists and then they want like a multi-party system, and it's like
Yeah.
communism, again, pure
You very
communism, calls
yeah.
for a vanguard party. It is a one-party political system, and there is only one way to have a one-party political system.
And it's not embracing other political parties. Like, guys, you
Nope.
missed the base point.
Nope. It requires somehow eliminating political dissidents, and it might take a while, right? Like, but
Right.
somehow you've got to stop people from wanting things different enough to
Exactly.
have
To where
different
they're
perspectives.
uh, they're more comfortable with assimilating to what is being not pushed. I don't want to say pushed, but they're more comfortable assimilating after being like, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really sound too bad. It's very,
Yeah.
I
So
guess.
autocrats need people to get in line.
Mhm.
Fascists need people to get in line. The vanguard
Mhm.
parties need people to get in line, right? Like,
Right.
that's just how authoritarianism works. So as the
Mhm.
globe becomes more right and more authoritarian,
Yeah.
there
We bring
is
that into our social spaces.
exactly there is this rise of black and white thinking because that's the training that's going into you. Um
Exactly.
because it
And
has
one
to
of
be.
my in order for it to work, it has to be.
Yeah.
Like, there is no
And it
other
doesn't
option.
matter how left you think you are. People who
Right.
think they are left enough to not get pulled into the right-wing pipeline are already
Mhm.
fucked, right? Like
Exactly.
it's like the whole thing of like, if you think you are not ever going to get pulled into a cult, you're probably most at risk for getting pulled into a cult. If you think that you will
Exactly.
never cheat, you are probably
Mhm.
most at risk for cheating,
Mhm.
right? Like, because you're not protecting yourself, you're not paying attention.
Right. Because it's like, oh, I know you're a little overconfident and like, well, I know the signs and I know and I wouldn't do X, Y, and Z. But you also people tend to forget you never know what circumstance you're gonna be in. You never know what situation life is gonna thrust you into,
You're
and you never know what your
already
mind state is gonna be at that time.
you're already behind because the whole thing is knowing that there are
Mhm.
situations for everything. There is nuance. The world is
Yep.
very rarely black and white. It's very rarely I could or I couldn't, I would or I wouldn't.
Mhm.
And if you
Right.
are in the mindset of I would never do that, you already are in the black and white thinking. You're already
Mhm.
in the binary. You're already in the yes or
Mhm.
no. You're already there.
Mhm. And I can't remember if I made a couple posts, but one of my mutuals, Gretch Reads, love Gretch, was
Mm-hmm.
commented on my post like it's getting very authoritarian in here,
It's
and I was
getting
like,
very
been
authoritarian in here.
I was like, it's been authoritarian in here. Oh, it was my post where it's like people are educating, they're trying to educate people, but it's really not education. It's just public humiliation. It's just public scrutiny. It's
And
you do
don't get me
this or
wrong,
get out of the fandom.
I have I've put people on blast for
Yes,
being I've been
yes,
petty, I've been spiteful,
hmm
and I do
hmm
it very intentionally. If I'm going to be a
yes,
fucking cunt about something, it's
hmm
not because I'm trying to educate that person. It's because
exactly.
that person has crossed a line in my perspective, and I
hmm
know that they have crossed a line in the perspective of enough people. And this
Yep.
is no longer about me, like,
It's not just oh, I don't like them. No, this is crossing into you are
yeah,
harming
you are
people in some
harming
form or
people and
fashion.
you are clearly not open to restorative justice, right? You are
Mhm,
clearly not open to the methods that it would take to
mhm.
actually, like, grow into this space. And now we have to make the
Exactly.
decision between safety and,
Mhm.
like, your rehabilitation. And restorative justice is not about your rehabilitation.
Right.
It's about community safety and what it actually takes to have a safe community, which is you deciding to engage with the rehabilitation,
Exactly. Exactly.
right? So, like,
And it's
you can
so
be a dick, right? I'm
right.
not saying don't be an asshole to people who deserve you being an asshole to them, but
Sometimes you have to.
don't say that you're educating someone. Don't say that you're like
Oh,
trying
I
to
am
bring
doing this in good
awareness.
faith,
I'm doing this
and
in
you're
good
being a
faith.
dick.
Yeah, when you are clearly being an asshole,
Clearly, very clearly, and
which is
it's
different from sea
so
lioning, right? Sea lioning is people who are not doing things in good faith and are
right.
pretending that they are. If you don't know
Yes.
what sea lioning is, folks, I don't have the time and space to explain it. This is a great
Mhm.
thing to look up on the internet.
On your spare time, please, please, I implore you, like, please look this up, because I think the lines between that line it also gets blurred too, but I think it's because people just don't know what these things mean, like down to the basic, specific foundational, like, yeah.
And I think we also see this on different sides, right? Sea lioning, this comes from like very, I mean, sea lioning, I think as a term really came from like, I mean, I remember it from Gamergate, right? And I think it came up around that time. It came up very much around spaces where men are being condescending assholes to like women and non-binary folks and other like people of marginalized genders, right? Like we're of this like very condescending type of this very toxic masculinity. It's sort of it came about in the same time as like negging, right?
Yes.
I mean, negging's very old, but like it came to popularity as a term
around
the same time. Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas well, I'm just trying to educate them. That's something that I see a lot more in this like I'm not even going to say left. I'm going to say people who call themselves left, right? Like liberals who think that liberalism is leftism, where it's like, you are not actually you are trying to shame them into learning something. You're not trying to teach them. If you want to shame someone, shame someone.
And be upfront about that. Stand 10 toes in that. If you want to shame them, hey, we should bring back shame to an extent, but we'll get to that later.
We should bring back feeling guilty about things that you should feel guilty for, right?
Yes.
But like, yeah, like.
But that is the issue that I have, and that has been a recurring theme in the fandom. Like, this is not. I make space. I feel like from my perspective, when I do make my posts, I do make space for people who have opposing perspectives to come in and be like, well, hey, this is not how I see it, or this is X, Y, and Z. And for me, it's not about being.
And you give so much space. You give so much space.
I give the space because I understand what it's like to not give the space as the person who doesn't give certain people the space, but then also being on the opposing end of it of where like people don't want to give you the space. So I understand it, which is why I give it. But with that also, like, it's not well, if you're not getting my point, then what's the point of us talking? It's like sometimes they're not going to get your point. Sometimes they don't have the same worldviews. They don't have the same experience. They don't even have the same day-to-day life-like engagement. And you have to hold space for that. Like, or I'm sorry, not have to hold space for that. But if you are going to engage in good faith, I think you should hold space for that.
I think if you're going to engage in good faith, engaging in good faith requires you to. I think that also people need to learn when a conversation isn't going to fucking go anywhere.
Exactly.
And like, listen, if you want to keep sniping at someone when a conversation isn't going to go anywhere, I do this a little bit. I think usually I tell people, and I think usually I stand behind this. Every now and then I'll go a little bit further, but usually I will say one snarky thing.
Yep.
You know that I'm really frustrated at the fandom when somebody I've said like 2 or 3 snarky things to, right?
Yep.
Like when we're at that point, I'm clearly pissed, right?
Right. Like at this point, I have nothing nice to say, and I really tried to be nice, but y'all playing in my face, and that's like I see it.
Usually, it's also like. This is the 7th person who has said the same thing on this post. And literally, if you opened up the comments and read, you would literally, right? Like, usually that's the point I'm at. If people want to keep sniping, they can keep sniping, but don't bitch when you keep being pissed off at people.
Exactly.
Like, because you're just making yourself angry. And I know that people would say, no, it's other people making me angry. And it's like, no, listen, there are always people out there who will make you angry. There are always people out there who will piss you off. It doesn't matter what fandom you're in. It doesn't matter what space you're in. It doesn't matter what community you're in. I mean, this is something that you know that I've said about my Discord, which is like, even in the verified spaces, we're going to have people who have each other blocked in spaces.
Exactly.
We're going to have people who really disagree on things. And as you know, some people really disagree with me on certain things, and I really disagree with them on certain things. I don't love them any less for it, but like
exactly.
I
We just know that that's an impasse. That's just it is what it is.
And I've said, like, I don't want people bringing up things that, like, active community members who are actively doing the work. I don't want us bitching too much about those folks because, like, you're going to be in community with people you can't stand.
And that is okay.
That's okay.
And we have strayed so far from that.
Just because you can't stand them doesn't mean they're bad people who aren't worthy of being in community. Right?
And aren't worthy of being redeemed either.
I mean, you know, we have several people who have like gone through huge, and I'm really proud of our community because like overall they're pretty receptive to that.
Right.
And like, again, it's something where like you have to know at what point you're willing to meet people. I am willing to meet people who are much less understanding of the world than like some people are, right? And I'm willing to do education at a lower level than some people are. Not every day though, but
not every day because that's not our job.
But some days, you know, I'm very used. You can look at my skin, right? I am relatively used to being the most melanated person in the room in Seattle.
Yes.
Because even though there's a lot of like racialized people, because of the history here, they tend to be in much more isolated groups. Like either you walk into a room with a lot of racialized people, or you walk into a room where I am the most melanated person in the room.
Exactly.
So I've gotten very used to like pulling people along. Like, I know I worked in DEI. I know how to do this and keep myself sane. That's why I have a series on how to survive K-pop while keeping yourself sane. You know, but like...
Which please tune into. A lot of you do need to tune into that, actually. And be open and receptive to the information that is being spread. Because if you are going to engage in these spaces, you have to have an air of reality.
That's my nice version of this.
Yeah.
That's the, like, you listen to this and you go, like, I maybe need to do some work on myself. I don't know how to do that. That's going to tell you how to do that.
This is where you get that content. This is where I show you. I'm giving you step-by-step playbook. I'm telling you what works. Like,
yeah. Let me give you the skills so that you don't feel defensive when you listen to this, okay?
Exactly.
Like, I think you and I probably feel a little defensive at ourselves sometimes because Lord knows, like, I sometimes have moments where I say something on someone's post and then immediately go, that was incorrect.
Yes, absolutely. And this is where my alt account kind of comes in because it's a very small community of people on my alt because everybody's not supposed to have the alt, right? But then like if I do make a post or if I do comment on someone else's post on main, and then I'm like, you did not have to do that. You didn't have to say that. Did you even have to give your energy to this?
You have an alt account for arguing with yourself?
Arguing with myself, arguing with other people, and then also like when something is happening on main in the fandom, and I'm like, I can't.
Oh, I just need to scream.
I need to scream. I can't articulate words right now. I can't be nice and nuanced about this. I need to bitch about this. That's what the alt's for.
I see. Yeah. I have a few people I just like DM.
But, right.
No, I get that. No, I usually will actually go in and be like, I didn't read that properly. Might be.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, I very rarely respond to something like an asshole. I might respond to something bluntly. I might respond to something like kind of like if I read it wrong, I might be like, what are you like? I'm.
What are you trying to say?
Like I don't understand this, but you know, if I read that and then go, oh, I misread this, I'm just gonna go back in. I'm gonna be like, fucked up. Might be.
Yeah, literally. The next comment will be like, "Oh, my bad. I definitely did not.
Yeah.
I didn't. I
And I
wasn't
think
paying
that
attention. I'm
that's what
sorry."
gets me even more than people being jackasses without, like, reading, is that,
Mhm.
okay, you wrote something. You realized what you wrote was you being a jackass. You either
Mhm.
deleted it or edited it.
Right.
And you did not acknowledge that you were a jackass. And I know that you
Mhm.
think that it had been posted for so little time that I didn't see it. But, like,
Right. But I
y'all,
saw that.
people see the shit that you post within 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Sometimes people see it immediately. You don't know when people are online. Like, just own up to, hey, I don't know if you saw it. I said something, it was out of pocket.
Right.
Sorry about that. Here's what I actually should have said.
Right. Like here's what I meant. And here let's clarify where my I'm actually coming from. And that's okay. And people
I
are not
respect that
okay.
so much more than people never being a jackass.
I respect I respect that. I respect being an upfront asshole because if you're gonna do it, stand in it. Stand 10 toes in it.
So I respect, you know what? Honestly, I respect people whom I virulently, one of those words I don't say out loud very much, violently
Yes.
disagree with, extremely, so super disagree with, and think that
Mhm.
they are actively harmful people and will shit talk about them. But if they
Right.
stand 10 toes on their shit, first of all, at least I don't have to waste my time on them. And
Exactly.
second of all, like, you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna shit talk them less because
Right.
why am I gonna shit talk somebody who just, like, says what they're gonna say and they stand 10 toes down, and I can just post and be like, hey, look at this transphobic asshole, and then move on. I'm not gonna waste my time and energy on that, you
Mm.
know. But, like, somebody who is gonna be wishy-washy about it,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. And not in the sense of because I also think people get confused, like people being wishy-washy versus people who are more like a two-faced kind of situation, or
mm,
people who are like playing both sides. If you're gonna do it.
and
And
if
be
you
able to
and
accept whatever comes with it.
if you don't feel strongly enough to stand 10 toes down on it, then, like, why are you putting down this type of emphasis, right?
Literally.
Either then be like Mia and say things, like, with the level of certainty you actually have them, or be like
Right.
me and don't talk shit about things that you can't stand 10 toes down on. When I say things that, like, I'm iffy on, or, like, I
Hmm.
could have my mind there's a reason so many of my posts starts with, in my opinion.
Yes.
So I think. Like,
From my perspective.
yeah, there's a reason a lot of my posts start with that, and it's honest, right? And I will even say out loud or outwritten, whatever, like, I'm
Hmm.
willing to have my mind changed about this. This was something that
Yes.
oh, the Hyunjin acting thing, where I said, like, just because y'all want him to be an actor doesn't mean he can or wants
Yes.
to do that as well.
Yes.
And, like, I made a joke about the fact that, like, he can't ever fucking remember a script. Um
Exactly.
and it, like, that was clearly a joke, not to the AgKais. It was not clearly a joke to the
Right.
AgKais.
Hmm.
But, like, what would happen, first of all, people would take that as me saying he can't or
Which
he
is not at all
doesn't
what you
want
said.
to. What I said is, just because you want him to doesn't mean he
Mhm.
can or wants to.
Wants to.
Very important difference. Big difference.
Hmm.
But also, I'd have people coming in being like, he's always said he wants to. And I would say, I am open to changing my mind about this, but all
Right.
I've ever seen is him cringing about his
Mhm.
acting. Like, yes, he did one thing in 2019. Give me any evidence since then that he wants to act. And, like, they'll
Mhm.
reference one article where he's like, I think I answered that question wrong. If I were to act in something, it would be something that lets me express my emotions, from, like, 2020. And I'm like, That is not something saying he wants to act. And they're like, well,
Exactly.
you're paying attention to the wrong things. And I'm like, I said already, I am open to having my mind changed if you give me any evidence to what you are saying. And there's nothing else. There's nothing else. So there is there is an interview that clearly asked him a hypothetical question where he hypothetically answered because Hyunjin talks in hypotheticals for 90% of his fucking life.
Literally. The fact that he's like, if I'm presented this opportunity, then I would prefer XYZ, or I would like to explore XYZ.
If I were to act... Listen, if I were to be an idol, I would do this, this, and this. I could say if I were to be an idol all day. If I were an idol, I would read so much fan fiction about myself.
Hello.
Does that statement that I just said mean I want to be an idol? No, I don't fucking want to be an idol.
No, I would never want to be an idol. I'd be canceled because I'm cussing y'all out on social media platforms.
But if you want me to answer some hypotheticals about like what I would,
what would I do?
What would I want? What would I do if I were an idol? Sure, I could. Give me an isekai where I wake up and I'm an idol.
Exactly. Knee deep in fan fiction, knee deep in the fan art. I'm commenting kudos from an alternate secret account. Like that's what I would do. I
absolutely have an account called OT6 B's
OT6
knees
forever dream.
That's like a picture of my face too from like a photo album.
Yes, like,
does this mean I want my face in a photo album? Fuck no.
No, not even close.
I'm designing merch of photo cards of myself, and I'm doing it solely because I know people will buy them because they know how much I hate that idea. Like, it's reverse psychology on myself and everyone I interact with.
Literally, like, and it works every time.
Yeah, like, so that's not evidence about anything other than that he, like, had a hypothetical. So I'm telling you...
a hypothetical situation.
I'm telling you, I will change my mind if you give me evidence.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I see. Very lame. Okay. It's getting a little spotty because it is raining over here.
It is raining. This is probably good because we probably need to wrap it up. What is the moral of our story from this bitch fest?
From today's bitch fest, y'all need to read. Y'all need to develop comprehension skills. Y'all need to start reading context clues. You need to start looking up words that you do not understand in conversation. It's okay to take 10-15 minutes before formulating your response just to understand what you're responding to, what you read and what you're responding to. It's okay. Please stop being so emotionally triggered and so emotionally charged that you're just ready to like, babe, it's not that deep.
Okay.
It's just not.
I'll take the takeaway from the nice angle.
Yes.
Which is, okay, one, try to figure out when you are reading and when you are guessing at what's going to be said next. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously ask yourself, do you read words or do you read your own assumptions? Have you already finished the post before you finished reading the post? Are you responding before you finished reading the post? If you find yourself pretty much ever responding to a post before you finished reading it, you're not reading. Honestly, I would say if you find yourself responding to a post before you open up the comments, you're not reading. You are guessing. Because it is so common that people make clarifications, that people have already answered your question, right? Like, that the comments of a post are part of the post.
Yes.
The
Them
comments of a post
answering
are part of a
questions
post.
and giving feedback is part of the post.
So I don't even think it's your fault if what you are used to is responding to posts before you have finished reading them. Read them 3 times, right? Like, especially if a post makes you feel a way, if it makes you
Yes.
feel a big feeling, if you want to respond as soon as possible, it is even more
Mhm.
important that you reread that post 3 times before you respond, that you read those comments. If by the time
Mhm.
you have if it's worth responding to, it's worth reading 3 times and reading the comments too. If it's not
Exactly.
worth that, if by the time you've done all of that, you don't care anymore, then it wasn't worth commenting on anyway. Right?
Exactly.
So on like a micro level, that's the
Right.
response. From a, we really didn't hit meso level, which I think is
Mhm.
fine. Because this does have big like meso level community impact on what happens and how we
Yes.
talk about things. We didn't hit that. That's
Yes.
fine. No meso level discussion here. On a macro level, we said everything's the system's fault, right? We talked about a lot of systems here.
Mhm.
Um, you didn't get taught to read properly, probably.
At all.
You certainly didn't get taught how to read social media properly.
Mhm.
The internet is worse every fucking day. Literally, the internet is worse every day. Both as in like social media, but also search engines. Search engines are
Yes.
constantly getting worse and less usable. So like I'm an old lady, I'm in my mid 30s, but like, you know, a kid called me unk or whatever. Like I'm an old
Insane
lady.
behavior.
I am used to searching for things and finding what I'm searching for. And
Exactly.
now I am constantly redeveloping that skill because it constantly gets more complicated to do that
Mhm.
well. That's
Yep.
not your fault. That's a system's fault. That is literally Google's fault. Um,
Literally.
but like that's like a big capitalism system fault. Unfortunately, you as individuals are the ones who have to overcome what the system has done to you.
Exactly.
Do you see any other
And
did
it
we
sucks.
It sucks. Did we talk about any other systems? Any other ways this is the system's fault, darling?
Um, let's see. Maybe not. Mm, actually, as I'm rewinding the conversation, no, I think we pretty much touched on like the systems in place with the reading and the not comprehending and the like.
Oh, the political atmosphere of moving right wing.
Oh yes. Again, a system's fault. These are strategies. Like these have been well thought out, well planned strategies from our government systems to influence the way that we interact with each other, interact with the media, interact with the government. Like these are planned things. These are not things that just kind of sprung up out of nowhere. It feels that way because it's so in your face and it's so blaringly obvious now, but this has been a working theory to practicum model.
Yeah. Yeah,
Please don't forget
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Mia Darlin, is there anything that you need or want to plug at the end of this episode about yourself, where places to find you, et cetera, and so forth?
So as of right now, I would prefer the place to find me would be Threads. My account is M period and AKOLE, which is my Maya, and then Nicole is my middle name. But that's where you can find me. Everything else is private for now. I might change my mind, might plug it later on. I just have to, me and social media have a very
Figure it out.
complicated relationship right now. But find me on Threads. I'm willing to engage in any and all conversations. It doesn't have to just be about fandom life. I talk about a whole bunch of different things. So please follow me, engage with me. If you have any questions, concerns, or you just want to hear a different perspective, I'm here.
I cannot recommend Mia enough. There's a reason that we're doing this together. It's because I really wanted to. Um, If you are watching this on YouTube, you can also find it in audio format, and all of our Stay Bitchings from here on out in audio format on my podcast, Stray Kids, the Megaverse. If you are listening to this on Stray Kids, the Megaverse, I'm so sorry that I have not updated my podcast in over a year. Listen, I have been very ill, and it was very overwhelming to basically try to write academic papers. And every time I open my script for the next episode, I start to panic because it's over 7,000 words. And I really just need to find someone to give me emotional and brain support on it. And I just haven't found that person yet. So sorry. But also, if you're a podcast listener, I am super on YouTube. I'm ridiculously on YouTube. I'm on YouTube to the point where you're going to be like, why are you on YouTube so much and not writing your podcast? And the answer is because it's a lot easier to react to Two Kids Rooms than it is to write an academic paper full with citations.
Exactly.
So
too much nuance, too much perspectives, guys. It's so hard. So much work, please.
It's so hard. And I have there's so many. Moving on. You can find me on YouTube at Metaskizverse, METASKZVERSE. I am at Metaskizverse in many places. Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitch, where I stream usually weekly on Fridays. And you can join the Metaskizverse Discord server, which has really expanded outside of what I anticipated it being.
Right in the beginning.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
Its own network.
There's a lot happening in that server, especially for people I know and trust. We're doing a lot of cool projects. If you're somebody I know and trust, if you're not someone I know and trust, you can join and become someone I know and trust by interacting with the rest of the server, or interacting with me. What's our 143? What do we need stays to stay doing? For themselves.
Stay calm.
For other. What's our love? What's our 143?
Stay calm. Stay healthy. Stay bitching.
Stay calm, stay healthy, stay bitching. All right, Stays. We love you so much, even if we are bitching about you. We only bitch about things we love about because we don't have the energy to bitch about things we don't love. That's not us.
Nope. I don't even care enough. I do it because I care.
So, my 143, stay playful, stay loving, stay bitching. Thank you and good night, or good day, or good time zone.
Yes.
Please, if you need to think of ways to make me shut the fuck up, because I get started and I just go and I yap so much. And I'm so sorry. And you always bring up such ideas in me, and then I just keep going. Never feel bad about like interrupting me or coming up with some idea to make me shut the fuck up. I try to do that to myself, but I do not succeed as much as I'd like to.
It's okay. It's very like it was good to have, well, for me at least, I think, because when I do have these conversations, I feel like you are one of the few people that can expand on their thoughts, even if it's just like it feels like it's just random ramblings. You are one of the people that
I'm usually going somewhere with it. I just haven't figured out where I'm going with it yet.
Right.